Whatever time of day it is, wherever you are, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. This is the AI Empowered Fundraiser Show. We're a show now, people. I mean, why not? We're here on Thursdays at 11 talking about AI governance. Fridays, 11 Pacific time. Fridays, same time, 11 Pacific time, doing hands-on training. We also get together on the weekends on Saturdays from noon Pacific to 2. And that can be a variety of different things. This weekend, we're doing like a show and tell of your cool projects that you've done with AI, and everybody's going to teach each other what to do. Last weekend, we had a really great training for AI generated images. Oh my goodness. Total unlocks with like Midjourney and DALL-E. Amazing. For those of you who are always looking for more, I'm going to share with you the way to, why does this have my restream thing? I'm going to show you how to get additional resources from me, okay? Where I have long form trainings, I'm adding micro lessons, I've got resources, event invitations. You can find everything there. And in this corner, I think this goes to our, sorry, we had to switch accounts this morning. This goes to our deck. If you're curious about like, what does an AI consultant do? Click here, and that's how you will learn. So let me see. I always love to check and see, are we live? Yes, we are. We are live. There are 5 of you here. Hi, everybody. So greetings to the people who are on LinkedIn Live, greetings to those of you who are on YouTube, and evidently we're also streaming to Facebook now. So heyo and happy Friday. So glad you're here. This is AI enhanced event planning. And this is one of my very favorite use cases for AI. And here's why. I do not like event planning because inevitably I get over my skis so fast. I get overwhelmed. There are so many opportunities to make mistakes. I mean, I just like earlier this week posted on LinkedIn the date of an event that I was at that day and listed the wrong date. I am like the worst collaborator when it comes to events, but I don't want to be a bad collaborator. I want to be an amazing collaborator. I want people to want to work with me to plan events. And so I've leaned in really hard on how, hold on one second, on how generative AI can help me be a better partner with event planning. And now I kind of like it. Like I'm having a lot more fun doing event planning. It's going more smoothly. It's way more satisfying. The guest experience, I can tell, has been a lot better. And within our team, we adore one another at the end of planning a big event, or a small event, either. Whereas like I always felt before like I was probably getting on people's last nerve. So whether you're in the camp of being like somebody who loves events and just is always looking for opportunities to make things better, this is for you. If you're one of the people like me who's like, I don't love doing events and I always kind of feel like I'm getting on people's nerves, this is a fantastic opportunity for you as well, because together we're going to learn how we can plan, execute, and follow up to our events in a much more smoother, efficient, and truly higher quality way. That's the thing about generative AI is a lot of times we approach it like, okay, this is how we're going to get stuff done faster. And while that's true, it's really about the higher quality plus how repeatable that quality is. Because once you've done a project once using generative AI, you can plug and chug that thing, right? You're going to have the prompts, you're going to have the workflow, and it's going to be easy peasy for you to generate the different pieces of content and strategy and like collateral that you need in order to plan a great event. So let me call up my presentation for you. How is everybody? Okay, if you're here, the 7 of you who are here on LinkedIn, tippy tappy, let me know, where are you tuning in from? And what are you using AI for right now? And not using it at all is completely fine. Let me know. What are you using AI for right now? And where are you tuning in from? We love to hear from you. So, by the way, I'm Ann Murphy. I'm the CEO and founder of AI Empowered Fundraiser. I have 25 years of expertise and experience in nonprofit and higher ed fundraising. And our consultancy, we launched our consultancy about 18 months ago. And my partner, who is my business partner and my husband, is Don Wackerly, and he is in the chat to help people and direct people to resources. So please do let us know where you are tuning in from, because we are dying to know. And it really helps me customize when I have a sense of how you all are using ChatGPT and other AI right now. And in our presentations, we always focus on the open AI landscape. Hi, Davis. Yay. We always focus on the open AI landscape because my feeling is, if you understand the open AI world, you're going to be able to compare and contrast other tools more easily. And you may find out that OpenAI is all you need. I would say for like probably maybe 75% of us. Is it sunny today, Donnie? No, it's not sunny today in Corvallis. Hi, Trisha. Yay, constituent engagement campaigns. Absolutely. So glad you're here, Trisha. And by the way, I had thoughts Trisha, I wanted to tell you, see how I am? I wanted to tell you that yesterday, was that yesterday? I'm so glad you came to the governance thing. I had less than 1 minute to prepare, so I hope that it came off okay. That was, JK, Donnie, exactly. It has been gray, I think, all week. Okay, that makes me feel better, but not really. Oh, but Trisha, you finally got out of the gray PNW. Good for you. Anyway, for you all who are here, Trisha Riley and Davis Wimberly are fantastic colleagues in the advancement space. And if you're not already connected to them, I would highly recommend it. All right, so let me get this party started, everybody. By the way, if you are ever curious about how to make AI images, let me know. I'd be happy to direct you to resources that we have on this, and or invite you to events with some of our AI image creation experts in our network who oftentimes get together with a bunch of us and teach us how to do it. So, like, for example, I know, I'm not an artist. I don't know how to draw. I don't know how to paint. I don't know how to do any of that stuff. But I am capable of making AI images. And so, like, I made this thing, and an artist may look at it and go, I don't know, the composition isn't right, or I don't know what. But for me to be able to create an image this is literally exactly what I wanted it to be. I indicated that I wanted it to be a diverse group of people drinking martinis, looking cool in the style of The Great Gatsby. And that I wanted the color palette to be hot pink, maroon, and forest green. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Thank you, Trisha. So anyway, making images is like, oh my gosh, the funnest new thing in my life. So as a reminder for folks, point your camera here, and that will take you over to our resources page. If you if you don't want to do your camera thing, it's bit.ly. I think this thing is covering it up. Donnie will drop it in the chat as well. And then, like I said, if you're curious about what AI consultants do, put your camera on that thing. You people who are here know my background, but kind of here's where we are with generative AI and growing and climbing. We are having a blast. We're working with clients in the nonprofit sector now who do a fair amount of social justice work, the arts, higher ed. We've got a community college. We've got a client who does they help people who have secured really great employment, but who may have obstacles to like relocating or paying for healthcare or buying the tools that they need. They help support people get started up. So we've got lots of really fun clients in the AI world now, and we're having a blast with that. Now, this is our pledge. I always ask everybody every single time, I will not put confidential information into ChatGPT. Now, we're going to dive right in with event planning. And here's where I remind everybody that the advent of generative AI and the overall AI revolution is our opportunity to break what's already broken. Whether that's the dreaded, this is the way we've always done things, or whether it's looking at your processes and like auditing, what are the things that you do every year that may not be driving to the outcome that you were hoping for? What are the things that you're doing that negatively impact diversity, equity, and inclusion? What are the things that you've been doing that you like kind of didn't like doing and you didn't feel satisfied with? This is a time to break what's already broken. So one of the things that's really helpful when you're working with generative AI is to begin with the end in mind. So just like with an event, like you're thinking, what are the outcomes that I want? What do I want people to think, feel, or do at the end of this event? What do I want people to think, feel, or do? What is my desired outcome? So when it comes to generative AI, when you know what you're driving toward, that's information that you can put into the large language model to provide context for the overall project. So as you go, you can continue reiterating, here's what we are driving toward, and that's going to help you get better results. Also, it's an opportunity for you to do a little self-inventory. What are some of the things when it comes to event planning that I really don't like? And what are some of the things that are in my zone of genius? Right? Like for me, a seating chart is a double black diamond project for me. I mean, if I need to do a seating chart and there's more than like 20 people there, I mean, hold my calls for like the whole rest of the day. It's very challenging for my ADHD brain to make a seating chart. So I might be thinking ahead, how can I use generative AI to do a seating chart? Or can I work with one of my colleagues who might now have more time because they're using generative AI and we're working on it together? Maybe somebody else now has capacity to do the seating chart so that I can focus on what I'm really good at, which is securing the best speakers, right? Or, I have great taste and I'm really good at picking out the leave behinds, whatever gifts or tchotchkes or, gifts for the hosts. So think about what you like doing. Think about what you don't like doing. Lean into doing what has worked in the past and take this moment to just the things that you've been doing, maybe your organization is doing or that you personally have been doing. take this moment to sunset those, right? Okay. Now, here are some of the tasks that work really well with ChatGPT. And there are others, believe me. These are just some of the ones that I've used, lots of trial and error, and I've seen ChatGPT be really useful. One is the concept for the event, right? You could be brainstorming about, let's say my desired outcome. One of them is that people walk away knowing more about our ethics in robotics program, simply that they are growing in their awareness. All right, so let's start brainstorming back and forth with ChatGPT. What could the program look like? What should the collateral look like? What should the vibe be? What neat, things, what out of the box things can we do? Strategy, brainstorming about strategy is really good. And I'm going to actually demonstrate how we're going to be in conversation with ChatGPT about strategy. It's your thought partner, your super smart intern. You can work on branding. I mean, for everything from what are you calling it, to taglines, to colors, to, themes, vibe, everything about the branding. You can write your creative brief, which this is an example of where when you get to that point where you can rinse and repeat. This is where you're saving tons and tons of time. So let's say you have, worked with a particular leader in your organization on a few events, and, you started out where the creative brief was okay. I mean, when you asked for feedback, it was like, yeah, this is pretty good. This kind of helped. And then you found out, okay, well, what they really like is they want to know the layout of the room, or so-and-so wants their talking points in bullets versus in a script format. Okay. So you're refining. The next creative brief that you make, you update your prompt so that your prompt includes what that person likes. Okay. Then you get that prompt, that creative brief approved. But maybe there's a little bit of feedback next time. Oh, okay. Actually, they need to be able to read it in 3 minutes or less. Okay. All right. We're not going to be including a bunch of attachments then. We're not going to be a la, 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 no paragraphs, just bullet points. And then by that point in time, you can turn your wonderful prompts that work every time, you can turn them into a custom GPT, so you don't actually have to prompt each time. Your custom GPT will ask you, what's your desired outcome? Blah, 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 all the things about the event. And you will have loaded in there your template and 2 or 3 examples of successful creative briefs. So then you're just going to get it approved. You're going to be able to pour information, just stream of consciousness out of your brain into your custom GPT, and it's going to produce that creative brief in the format with the information that your executive leader likes to receive it. Okay. And then budgeting, super helpful with budgeting. Phase 2. Creating collateral. So, and how you're going to use it. So what's your invitation strategy? So chatting back and forth with ChatGPT about your invitee persona. Are they the kind of people who check their email? Are they on WhatsApp? Are they social media, people? Are they want a really lovely invitation that's totally decked out? Do they like QR codes? Like anything about how your constituents consume information and what inspires them to take action, you talk to ChatGPT about that. Okay, so you've got the invitation strategy. Then you've got making the actual invitations. So say over time you've gathered up like 5 or 6 examples of invitations that you think just really sing. You can share those examples with ChatGPT and say, of these 5, you could take pictures of them and upload them. You can, use PDFs. You can describe them. You can, write out like a template. Any type of examples of invitations that you like or invitations that have worked really well in the past, provide that information to ChatGPT and it'll help you create invitations that speak even more to your goals for your event. And this is one I like because, again, like you kind of have to know yourself. What are you good at? What are you not good at? I cannot explain why, but even the simplest event invitation could take me hours. It is so hard for me to settle on the exact format, every single word. Is it PM with a period in the middle, like P.M. Is it just PM? Is it capital? Is it lowercase? Like I can obsess for hours over invitation copy and still not get it right. So now I have a custom GPT for different types of event invitation copy, and I don't have to think about it anymore. And I don't have that, it's almost like a psychological burden to spend time on stuff that I'm not good at and then never be satisfied by it. I get no dopamine, and I've just wasted a few hours of my life that I'm never going to get back. So, and then of course there's, your whole email sequence, with your invitations, your reminders, your request for RSVPs, your confirmations, your, reminders of the event, blah, 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 blah. You're going to be able to get all that collateral together as well. So I hope you're seeing how with a project like an event, creating content is really cool and everything, but ChatGPT, it's probably the least interesting use case. You know what I mean? There are so many other things that you can do with OpenAI that after you've been in it for a while, you're like, yeah, I mean, it's cool that it can help me write an email and everything. And the email is going to be, better than average, better than your typical work, most likely. But sorry, I'm moving my desk down. But to be able to start out with that strategy component is really where you get the biggest leveling up, right? And by the way, how awesome to be able to work through some of your ideas before you even pitch it to somebody else. You know what I mean? You're probably going to identify things that, you're like, maybe that was not a great idea or wasn't the most strategic. I'm going to show you how to do that. But I just love the opportunity to gain a little bit of confidence that I'm bringing ideas to other people that are a little bit vetted already. And then follow up. So obviously, we have tons of people to thank. We thank our guests, we thank our hosts, we thank our speakers. So you're going to be able to do that thanking really easily. You're going to be able to really dial in your calls to action. So, that we always say the fortune is in the follow-up. As far as I'm concerned, there is literally no point in doing an event without the follow-up plan in place. In fact, I advocate for knowing what your follow-up plan is going to be before you even launch your strategy component, because everything else should follow on what you have capacity to do for follow-up. So let's say the event takes place right before spring break and a bunch of you are going to be out. Well, you need to adjust your follow-up plan based on that, right? Let's say somebody on your decision-making team says, we are only going to send one message afterward, or whatever. I'm like stumped on examples, but where that you're going to need to do your follow-up in a particular way and say particular things, and your desired outcome is that you will get people to maybe consider joining a board. Well, that you can make decisions along the way in your event planning that support what you're trying to do with your follow-up. I hope that made sense. Okay, so to recap, the ones that we're going to go over in real time. We're going to talk about strategy, how to use ChatGPT for strategy for an event, how to create a landing page, so a little bit of content, a little bit of strategy, remarks, and thanking. And if anyone has like a burning question about how you can use ChatGPT for event planning, please drop it in the chat and I will focus on that. So if there's something that's been like an obstacle, a challenge, or an area where you just want to level up, or you're just curious, can ChatGPT help me with this? Let me know in the comments and I will answer that. Okay. Okay. So let us move on to the OpenAI world. Okay. You guys can see this, right? Okie dokie. Do we want to do a little quick recap of prompting? I'm just going to do one little tiny moment. Tiny moment of that. Real quick. I think it never hurts to reinforce our prompting strategies. And by the way, tiny mini rant. There are a lot of people out here on these AI streets talking about how, you don't need to know how to prompt. They're saying that because it's fun to be an iconoclast and it's juicy to be able to say to people, oh, don't sweat it. It's really easy. Like, you don't need to learn how to do that. But it's not true. You do need to know how to prompt. It's just patently not true. Like, you have to know what to say to the models to get the output that you want. That's prompting. So prompting is the instructions or the dialogue, the request, the question, whatever it is that you're putting into that little box in ChatGPT, that's your prompt. That's going to get you your text, your image, your data, your video, eventually your video and voice. This is the big one. This is how you structure your prompts to get the best possible output as your beginning part. We know that we're going to reprompt and we know that we're going to fix things on the back end, but role, like in this case, we'll probably say you are like the world's most amazing event planner, blah, blah, blah. So role, instructions, context, an example, and your output. So you'll see me doing this today. You're going to define the role. You say, we're working together on blah, blah. Here's our desired outcome. Here's how we want people to think, feel, or do. Here's an example. And here's what I want for the output. If we don't like it, we reprompt. Maybe we hit the little regenerate button. Maybe we just start chatting back and forth. This is great. Keep the stuff, but here are a few upgrades. Or maybe you're going to go back up to that first prompt in the beginning and fix that prompt, because if it's something that you're going to be doing a lot of, like if you're going to be writing a bunch of creative briefs, then you over time are going to want to perfect that prompt. So you would just go back up to the top and fix that first prompt. And I'm going to show you guys this. And then you'll always have to fix it on the back end. So here are some of the things that you can say. And this will be in our link tree. I'll put the deck for this, so you'll have these in front of you when you need them. Okay. All right. So let us go back to, I know that was fast, but here's the main one. Burn this one into your brain. Even take a picture of it if you want. Like, you can take a picture of it and load it into ChatGPT 4 and say, what does this say? And it'll type it out for you. It takes unstructured data like this and can describe it. You can say, please tell me verbatim what this image says. That's a little hot tip. If you have to go to a lot of presentations and you don't want to have to go through the whole deck ever again, you just want these juicy nuggets on a couple of them, take a picture of the slide, press the little plus button or the little paper clip, grab that photo and say, tell me what this says verbatim, please. And sometimes ChatGPT will say it can't, and you just have to tell it, yes, you can. It sometimes just says it can't do random stuff, and nobody really knows why. Okay, so we're going to start. We are going to start talking to ChatGPT about a strategy for an event. We are going to use ChatGPT as our thought partner, and we're going to use the format that I just shared with you. We're going to assign a role first. Hi there. You are an expert donor event planner with a 30-year track record of, let's say, enhancing engagement through events. You've even won a few awards for your events. Your colleagues consider you a mentor. So ChatGPT likes positive emotional appeals. So if you like pump it up a bit, say you're amazing, you're going to get better results. I don't even love thinking about that. It just like, oh my goodness, but it's just the facts. Okay, instructions. We are, I need your help. I need your help working on an important, you want to tell it it's important, donor event. This is important to my career. You have to tell it that. You can. These are just little extra flares. This is important to my career that the event is effective at engaging donors with our ethics in robotics program. Okay, so that's like what we're working on. Need your help working on an important donor event. We're going to work together on strategy. What did I say? I'll just say on everything from strategy to the program to follow up. I'm not going to give it any examples at this point, but I am going to say we're going to start with strategy. And remember how I said you want to tell ChatGPT what you want the output to be? I'm going to say, to get started, please ask me 3 questions about our event, one at a time. And this little trick of having ChatGPT ask you the questions will help you. You don't have to bring like a fully baked idea then to the table. You can have ChatGPT draw it out of you, right? Which it saves a lot of brain calories. And you don't have to worry about like writing a bunch of la that may not even be useful. Okay? What's the core message or theme you want this event to convey? I think it's that our ethics in robotics program is top-notch, highly ranked, has impressive faculty and is an effective way to effective giving opportunity for donors. We want people to feel close to the program when they leave. Okay? What kind of donor profile are you expecting at this event? Who are we kind of expecting? We're going to say previous donors to higher education, those who have contributed, say, $10K or more lifetime giving, those who have supported STEM in the past, 50% are retirees, 30% are Gen X still working, and 20% are millennials who have an interest in responsible AI, ML, robotics. Okay. And, you know, sometimes you guys see me when I do these demos that I just type everything out and I don't pay attention to typos and stuff. If I was doing this on my own, at this point, I wouldn't worry about the typos, but at some point during the process, I would start trying to write my prompts more crisply and cleanly so it didn't leave as much room for error. With this diverse donor mix, what kind of experience do you envision for the event? Are you aiming for a formal structured program? I'm looking for something unique. I can't quite describe yet. Okay, so we are answering these questions to get to a starting point for the conversation about strategy, thinking about activities, something, I'm just going to say something else. How many questions did I ask it to tell me? Tell it to ask me? Not yet. Okay, how many more questions is it going to ask me? Let's begin. Let's begin the conversation about strategy. Is this, maybe it thinks it already is. Creating a unique and engaging strategy starts with blending the program's strengths with memorable experiences. Okay, to shape the event strategy, let's consider a few key areas. What should attendees know, feel, or do? Define the specific outcomes to guide the event structure. So one, we want them to consider making a major gift in the next 12 months, to take a call with a development officer, and to consider getting involved as a volunteer. 2, emotional connection. Let's bring a robot and have it tell a heartwarming story. Donor involvement. What opportunities will there be? Think about activities or moments. How about the robot creates poems? Yeah, the robot creates poems for each guest. And the guest tells them what to write about. Okay, I mean, making this up as we go, but create a seamless follow-up strategy, inviting attendees to meet with development officers, personalized emails, follow-up calls, emotional connection. Consider incorporating a personal anecdotes about how robotics. Ooh, okay. So yes, let's plan to include robotics grad students who've been funded by donors. Okay, interactive experience. Okay, cool. Okay, so, all right, so this is looking good. Now we're going to move on to the next thing that we were going to do, which is landing page. Okay, so we are going to use ChatGPT to help us create a landing page. So let's say, think about who has really good events that we could use their landing page. I don't know. Let's special Olympics gala. I think of this because Donnie and I once went to a Special Olympics gala and we won a trip, which was pretty cool. There we go. Let's see. All right, so this is just kind of a boring landing page. Doesn't say anything particularly dazzling. Let's see if one that's more an event that's more kind of interactive. Find a race or walk, photo, whatever. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say, no, I feel like I should give it an example. Let's use the boring one from Special Olympics. Okay, so I'm going to say, please, okay, now wait, this was a different, hey, there we go. Okay, so we're going to say, this is looking good. Let's move on to creating a landing page. Please review this website and send me a draft of the content for our landing page to look the same. So, here's kind of that thing about beginning with the end in mind. So if you're doing a lot of events, as you go through your regular everyday life and you see examples of landing pages for events that you like, that you look at it and you're like, wow, this is engaging, this is inspiring, this is going to make me want to RSVP. Love how they've pulled the branding through, in a meaningful way. Save yourself a little file of examples. Okay, so here's a draft inspired by the website you shared. So let's just double check. Yep, it's got the title. Then it's got the logistics. Then it's got some information because we didn't work on the program yet. So this is an example of, you're not going to send an invitation to a donor event that says, hey, this is an opportunity for you to connect with development officers. You're going to say, opportunity to connect with university leaders or to the people who make this program happen, or with our Nobel Prize winning faculty member or our rock star graduate students or whatever, right? So you're gonna go back and forth and make that just right. So that one was easy. If you had a more complicated landing page where you wanted taglines and you need to know what you want your pop-up to say, and you want a sidebar, blah, blah, blah. Perfect. It'll just take you a little bit longer, but you're going to get a draft of a landing page that you're able to turn over to your webmaster or your designers and say, okay, here's what I want it to say. And you're that much closer to getting the thing done. And as we know, when a landing page is in the, forever being approved and edited phase, you can't start inviting people because they won't have anywhere to go to register. So let's just say that that's historically been an issue in your organization, is getting the landing page up and running. Now you've got a method. Now you're saying to them, oh, actually, this was structured very much like the one from that banger event we did 6 months ago where everybody said they loved the landing page experience, whatever, So that's the beauty of it. It can be replicated. Okay. Now we're going to remarks. Okay. So when we're writing remarks, one of the things we're going to do is we are going to, okay, I'm going to say, this is good. Let's move on to writing remarks for our, let's say to the person who, how about if we say writing remarks for our host who is a robotics professional who graduated from the Ethics in Robotics program. Now, at this point, if you had examples of that person's remarks, that person's writing, if you had, let's say they have a YouTube video that they've made and you can grab the transcript from that, you name it, any type of head start you can give ChatGPT when it's trying to write in somebody else's voice, perfect. Let's say you don't know though, and you're kind of just going for what would be a good outline for remarks for the average bear? I'm going to say elements to include. Welcome to everyone. Thank you to spouse for helping host. Hype the ethics program, ethics in robotics program. Introduce robotics faculty who is a Nobel Prize winner. And then thank everyone for coming. Indicate why you support the organization. So as you can see, total stream of consciousness, did not even think about it for more than 30 seconds. However long it took me to type that is the grand total of the length of time I thought about that. And I'm going to say, let me know if you have any questions before drafting the remarks in with headings and bullets, but in first person. So there's a lot of information that I haven't given it. I haven't given it, how long do I want the remarks to be? I haven't given it an example. I haven't given it achievements. It's saying, do you want me to emphasize the achievements or do you want me just to introduce them? Okay, first, a big thank you to my spouse for helping me host this event. I'm incredibly proud of our ethics and robotics program. It's ranked among the best in the world and tackles some of the most pressing issues in technology today. Our faculty are renowned for their work, and tonight is a chance to celebrate them. Speaking of faculty, I'm honored to introduce blah, blah, blah. Okay, so let's say your host is a little bit on the poetic side. So I'm going to say, add our host is kind of poetic when she speaks. Can you add a little bit of rhythm to this? Not much, but a little. So I'm just going back and forth with it right now because I'm not going to need to create a prompt for this exact person ever again, probably. So it's really not worth it to go back up to the top and start the prompt, edit the initial prompt. All right, so let's see how it did. A heartfelt thanks to you, my wonderful spouse. Without them, hosting this evening wouldn't be quite the same. Their support adds a special spark to everything I do. Okay, so it's a little bit more like, sparkly. It's like a guiding star, illuminating the way forward. We're not just creating robots, we're building a future that we can be proud of. Tonight, you're part of that journey. So you can see how the first version of the remarks and this version of the remarks work for two entirely different people. So ChatGPT made adjustments based on what I told it. And if I had uploaded like an existing speech or a voice prompt for that person, it would have nailed it the first time. This is actually really good. I mean, would you say you're the wind beneath our wings? Maybe, maybe not. That could be a little much, but that's an example of like ChatGPT did a good job. It made its best guess at like how to make it a little bit more poetic, but there's always going to be things that you need to edit. And then our fourth thing that we wanted, okay, thank yous. So let me show you, now I'm going to, just for demonstration purposes, and I can give this to you guys. I'm going to show you how I now do thank you notes. So I've created this custom GPT, which lots of you know is just like an app that you would find in the App Store. It's easy to create one. Well, it's easy to create a simple one. It's really hard to create one that does like magical stuff. But this is based on, this is a perfect example. And I know I only have a couple minutes, but this is a perfect example of where when you take somebody's subject matter expertise and experience and blah, 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 and add generative AI, like learn how to use the tools, blah, blah, blah. Now what I was able to create was a perfect set of instructions for writing a donor thank you note. Like I know what elements I want to include, and they're always going to be included here. I trained it on the voice of like an average development officer, the way they might talk, somewhere in between like direct and flowery. But typically this one is, it seems to be generating, at least recently, generating content that's pretty flowery, but it's easy to change. So the inside of a GPT just looks like this. It's got a name, it's got a description, and then these are the instructions. And this is a pretty typical length for something that's as complicated as this one, which is like not super, super complicated. But, I say the goal is to generate a sincere message, providing a meaningful connection. It should avoid a tendency to be wordy by limiting prose, especially adjectives. I have avoid the word beacon because it just keeps saying beacon. Tone and style. And by the way, these hashtags are like a heading. So when ChatGPT sees that, they go, oh, okay, this is a heading. This is a new thought. One hashtag is title. 2 hashtags is subheading. 3 hashtags is like subheading. So that can be helpful. And then the dashes are like bullets. So this is just a way to be just a little bit more specific. I didn't change anything, but you click update when you've, made some changes. And now let's do this. Let's begin drafting the note together. Hello, my name is Ann Murphy, and I made this GPT to help you consistently generate lovely thank you notes for donors. A few tips for success. So when you make your GPT, if you're going to share it with other people, you want to say, how you use this. So if you hate the draft, say try again or whatever. Consider yourself in a conversation. You can say don't use the word beacon or this is too mushy. Have fun with time you save. So are you ready to dive in? Yes. So your GPT will talk with the user, which oftentimes is yourself. So my GPT is pretending to be me and it's talking to me right now. Would you please full name of the organization and a fake name for the donor? Okay. Disneyland nonprofit and Minnie. I'm Anne. Wants to know who I am. Donor and event host, thanking for hosting event. Obviously, I hope it's obvious. You would give it a little bit more context so that it can create a perfect thank you letter, but I've only got 3 minutes, so I'm just like hauling. I sign it saying warmly. Anne. Okay, so would you like to include a famous quote? If you have a famous quote, a person I'm going to say, yes, how about Walt Whitman? Now, because I haven't gone into a ton of detail, here's what I'm thinking. A brief expression of thanks for hosting the event, mentioning the impact of their involvement, ending your sign-off, include a relevant quote. Yes, I'm ready for the draft. So it may hit the mark, it may miss the mark. Hi, Minnie. I just want to take a moment to thank you for hosting our event at Disneyland Nonprofit. Your generous support and energy made it a huge success, and we couldn't have done it without you. Your involvement truly makes a difference. As Walt Whitman once said, we were together. I forget the rest. Having you on our team makes everything better, and we're so grateful for your commitment. Thank you for being such an important part of what we do. We look forward to working with you again soon. It's not bad. Let's say we're like, let's just regenerate it. Thank you for your vibrant spirit and leadership at our recent event. Your efforts not only brought us together, but also propelled our mission forward in such meaningful ways. As Walt Whitman once said, I no doubt deserved my enemies, but I don't believe I deserved my friends. We're especially grateful to have you, not just for support, but for your friendship. Okay, it's not bad, right? It's not bad. So that is how you can use ChatGPT to go through your kind of a few phases. So we did the strategy. That's just a conversation. Gave it a role. We had it look at somebody else's landing page and create a similar landing page. We had it help us with remarks, and we had it help us do our thanking by using a custom GPT. Everybody, I hope that was helpful. I hope this makes your events better, more productive, more aligned with your desired outcome. I hope it makes you like event planning better if you don't like it. And honestly, if you're an event planner and you have to work with people who aren't good at event planning, maybe teach them how to use these tools. You know what I'm saying? Sorry, I was lighting my candle. Teach them how to use these tools so that they can be better collaborators. Cool. All right, everybody, have a beautiful weekend. Thank you for being here. If you're watching this on the replay, don't hesitate to get in touch with me. And I mean, for everybody, whether you're here or your replay, don't hesitate to get in touch with me. I will put this recording and these slides and a couple of resources onto our resource page. It'll probably take me a day or so, maybe 2. And please do avail yourself of those. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody. Bye-bye.